Hi, hello, welcome. This is another part of our ranking series, and this time we are going to rank the bronzers. I actually have to film this again because I accidentally deleted the footage of the first time, but let's take this as a chance to do it better than before so I don't have to edit out that much. This video has two parts. The first part is going to be like cream and liquid bronzer, and the second part then powder bronzer. Just a little disclaimer, bronzer and contour are kind of in the same family for me, so I don't make that much of a difference. Number 11 in the cream contour bronzer category is the Fenty Sticks one. This one specifically is the shade Amber Suede. I used to have another of those shades, but I can't remember which one it was, but I didn't like it, therefore I decluttered it. But Amber Suede is a very, very pretty color. In general, I am not that much of a fan of stick bronzers. I did declutter the Rare Beauty ones because they were like too like Vaseline-y. I do have other sticks that I like better than this, but this is a solid good one. Nothing wrong with it, just not my favorite. Number 10 is the Osavira Charlotte Tilbury Contour Wand. This survived actually multiple declutters and even got revived back into life, because this year was in my declutter bag. But then I saw some TikTok videos and I was like, okay, I just need to try it once more to make this work. If it does not work now, I will declutter it finally. But I did, and my mistake was basically I was using the wrong brush with it. Personally, I love more stiff angled brushes with this product, but that's one of the reasons why this is ranked so low in my collection. I do not want to struggle with what kind of brush can I use with this specific product. I have several like bronzing brushes for cream and liquid contour bronzer. Oh my god, words. But this one I can use only with one specific brush that I own. So also the color, you know, this is the fair to medium shade, and then they do have a medium dark. I think it's just not enough shades, and this one is quite dark for me. Number 9 is actually a blush shade officially. This is the Made by Mitchell liquid blush one, and I'm not saying the name because I think the name sounds just so disgusting that I want to throw up. But this is the Made by Mitchell liquid blush in the shade Hollow There. They do have a whole like bronzing contour line, and Hollow There is one of the lightest shades that is really, really cool toned. I absolutely enjoy this shade. It's very, very pretty. What I do not like is the application system, because this type of doe foot that you have in here works for blush, but not so much for bronzer contour. Number 8 is actually the new NARS Laguna Cream Bronzer. They came out with a whole like revamped line of Laguna ones. And in that new lineup of Laguna things, they also brought new shades of Laguna. This is Laguna 01. It's quite a cool toned bronzer. It's more like a bronzer shade. I really enjoy it. The formulation is very, very stiff, but yet pigmented. So not my favorite, but a very good one. Survived the declutter, so all of these are actually good. Number 7 is another Fenty product, and this is the Cheeks Out one, but this is the shade Amber, not Amber Suede. I don't know if they even have Amber Suede in this format, but I think you can see this is a straight up gray. Like, this is brown with so much gray in it that is actually a dark gray. This is ranked so low because I cannot use it every day. But this will, I don't think I can declutter this because this is such a perfect true contour shade for my face. This is the color of the shadows that I have on my face naturally, so I love it. I think this is one of the best ones, and if I had to rank only like true contours, this would be the best one. Number 6 is the Vive Modern Radiance Cream Bronzer. They came out with 4 shades and I picked up the light shade. It looks like I haven't used much, but you get a motherfucking 33 gram of product in it. This is a bit creamier than the NARS Laguna one, so therefore I like the formulation better. Color-wise, this is in the same family. I think this one is a tad bit cooler, so I like it a bit more on my face. Beautiful formulation, one of the few products from Vive Muse that I actually like. Number 5, yes, I like the Tarte Sculpt Tape much more than I do like the Charlotte Tilbury one. And that is mainly for the color. I do have the shade Cool Bronze, which has it has kind of a red undertone to it, which makes it very, very fitting for my skin tone. You know, when you are very pale, your bronzer, your contour looks extra fine when you have a rosy or a red or a pinkish undertone to it. I know it sounds super weird, but color theory makes it work. Of course, it depends also on your personal undertone, but on me, this looks much, much better than the Charlotte Tilbury one. Formula-wise, they're actually the same, so I could have ranked this lower because I do have to struggle with the brush topic here again, but since this shade is so good, I just could not rank it lower. It just has to be the number 5. Now to the stick bronzer contour things that I actually really like, the Makeup by Mario ones. This is my number 4 and I did not like do different rankings for the shade. I do have light and light medium. Light medium is a bit cool toned, light is a bit more warm toned. I love them. They are very, very thick, so you either have to use just the side or you love a more distributed bronzer application. And on the other side, you do have this very interesting brush that has tiny nipples on it. I have no idea what they are supposed to do, but I actually have not used anything else. When I apply this, I take this side to draw and then I also take the other side to like blend it out. I love it. It's such a good product, very surprising. I'm kind of happy that Makeup by Mario is now easier accessible in Germany. And number 3 is actually another Makeup by Mario product. These are the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Enhancers. Again, light and light medium. I absolutely adore them. I am wearing light medium today, I think. I have literally no clue because I just grabbed it and applied it. They are so sheer that I think I could even get away with the medium shade. They are very, very easy to build up, but you can leave it with one layer and then you have the most natural like shadow cast on your face that you can imagine. Absolute surprise product. It blew me away from the first application that I had to go back and buy another shade. I cannot recommend these enough, but the other two are just a tad bit better. More surprising than the Makeup by Mario one is the entry of the Milk Makeup Stick. This is the Sculpt Stick in the shade Toasted. If this is not the most perfect cool contour shade on this earth for my skin tone, I don't fucking know. This is not as gray as Fenty Ember. It has a bit more of a brownish like mixed in, but it looks absolutely stunning. I hate the fact that this smells like Play-Doh, but I love the way it applies. And number 1, I just wish they weren't so overpriced, are the Westman Atelier sticks. This is the Face Trace Contour Stick, specifically the shade Biscuit. It is a bit like the Toasted shade from Milk Makeup, but a tad bit sheerer, I would say. It goes on super nice, it blends super nice. You could even, if this is your way of applying makeup, you could even take this one, draw it on your face and then blend it out with your finger. That's how good they are. They are a bit more like stiff compared to the Milk Makeup one that is more like waxy, Vaseline kind of. This is more creamy, but it goes on super nice, stays all day. But they're like 65 euro for one stick, so you better know what shade you want to have. But if you are pale like me and you are considering getting it, the shade Biscuit, is it Biscuit? Yeah, it's Biscuit, is the way to go. Highly recommend. I mean, it's my favorite one. Now let's head over to the powder bronzers, and we are starting with number 11, and that is actually the only bronzer I have pan in, the Charlotte Tilbury Airbrush Bronzer. I do have the shade 1, which is I think fair. Mine has completely like scratched off here at the back, but I think it's fair or pale. Yeah, it's fair. Number 1. I do like this bronzer, and I think this is one of the better Charlotte Tilbury products that in my opinion are actually worth the high price tag. But the bronzer market is just so flooded with stuff that I cannot justify this putting up higher than my least favorite out of them all. Number 10, we do have the MAC, I always forget the name. This is the Sunstruck Matte Bronzer in the shade Light Rosy. I bought this specifically for a MAC brand review video that I did a couple months ago, weeks, whatever. And this is mediocre. It's pretty, it's nice. What I like about this specifically, and that's why it survived the declutter because of its mediocreness, the shade. This has, as I mentioned, a pink undertone, and something with this reddish or pink undertone just looks extra fine on my skin, so I kept it mainly for the shade. Is this a very special formulation of bronzer? Absolute the fuck not. It's very mediocre. I don't think this is worth the high MAC price tag, and let's be honest, this packaging is cheap bullshit. Besides having cream bronzers, NARS also revamped the whole Laguna powder bronzer line, and they brought out more shades. I think in general they now have 8 Laguna shades, and this is Laguna 00. Finally a shade I can wear. I have to admit, my expectations on the NARS Laguna bronzer were so much higher. I got a bit disappointed. That's why it's only at number 9. I like it still. I think the shade is very good, and this with the Laguna cream bronzer is a match made in heaven. They work so fine together. They complement each other very nice, as if this was made for the other one. I like the shade in general, but I don't think that NARS bronzers in 2023 are still worth the hype that they got like in 2016. Number 8 is another Fenty product, and this is the Sunstalker bronzer in the shade In the Sun. When I did my declutter series, I actually thought of decluttering this or the Charlotte Tilbury one, but I decided to keep both because they look very similar in the pan, but they have very different undertones. In the Sun is much warmer than Charlotte Tilbury one in the shade 1. Therefore, I see how I can use them both. It is a very good bronzer. It is hyped up for a reason. I really enjoy it. But because of the very warm undertone, it's nothing that I like to wear on a daily basis because I'm not that much of a warm bronzer girl. Like the sun-kissed look with my milk skin is just not what I like, but with certain looks on certain days, I really enjoy this one. Number 7 is the Dior Forever Natural Bronze, and I do wear the shade 04 Tan Bronze. It sounds a bit weird and it also looks a bit dark, but Tan Bronze is the first in the whole line that has a cool undertone, which is a bit weird to me. And yes, this is the coolest of them, I think. I like the formulation, but it is a bit too dark. But since this has such a nice cool undertone, I like it more than the others. And I can wear this more, like, for example, like the Fenty In the Sun, it's just too warm for my daily looks. But this, nice. It takes a bit of a, like, calm hand and a, like, gentle hand because it is very pigmented and a bit too dark for me. And it has this squishy packaging that I actually like. Number 6 is the Haus Labs bronzer, and I do have the shade Light Level 2. I think I don't have to mention why I love this so much. Look at the cool undertone. I don't like the formulation of these so much because they are different to the blushes, and I also will talk about this in the highlighter ranking because these are drier than the blushes, but they are good enough to work. And I don't know if you can tell, but they even have a lot of powder-like kick up here, which makes them just very easy to blend. But don't expect the like same smooth level as from the blushes. Number 5, the Ellamas Plain Air in the shade Totori. And you might ask like, hey, didn't you just say that you hate warm bronzers? I do, but this has the right level of warmth. It is such a light powder that you cannot even detect the warmth. I'm wearing this on top today of the Makeup by Mario skin enhancing thing. Again, I don't know if it's light or light medium that I wore, but I love these. They are €105 for one compact, so you might have to think about it twice. Totori is the lightest of them all. They do have 3 other shades that do go quite dark, and I think one of them even has also a red undertone. But I'm not too sure since I only checked out the Totori one. Number 4, they came out this year, the Pat McGrath bronzers. They are fucking good. And I feel like if she would have came out with these 2 years ago or 3 years ago, they would have gotten so much of a buzz. But since she's a bit late to the game, I feel like they fell off the radar. They were like very forgotten, but if you were unsure whether or whether not to try them, I highly recommend. I do have 2 shades. I have the shade Naked Desire, which I think is the second to lightest one. And I also have the shade Nude Honey. No, this is the second to lightest one, and this is the lightest one. They came in a set, so you are able to pick up a duo and choose the shades actually Or could you? Or were they like pre-made dews? I don't know. But these are the ones that I bought, and I think you can clearly see where the difference between those is. Naked Desire, so this one is much lighter but very cool toned, while Nude Honey is a tad bit darker and has a tad bit more warmth to it. Another Makeup by Mario product made it to the top 3, so place 3 here is the Soft Sculpt Transforming Skin Perfector. This is probably the weirdest bronzer that I have ever seen, because this comes with 3 different rows of product. So you have this bronzy contour row, then you have this like shimmer topper row, and a highlight row. What I've seen most people do online is they take their bronzer brush and they swirl everything together. That is not how this product is intended to be used. This is intended to be swiped as it is. Take your brush, swipe along those lines, and then apply it in that way. That way you get a contour bronzer, a shimmer topper for your blush, and already a highlight. You can then leave out the highlight if you want to. I'm so extra, I won't. But if you follow these like lines in here, you get a very beautiful application of bronzer, and I really enjoy these. I think this is a beautiful formulation, kind of innovative, maybe kind of ahead of its time. Maybe, I'm just saying it. Number 2 is a product that I just got very recently, I think like 2 months ago or so, but when I tried it the very first time in a video, I was not able to put it down for a straight week or 2. The Art Class Too Cool Bronzer. Too Cool. Wow. This is amazing. You have 3 different stripes, a very light one, a very gray one, and a darker cool tone contour shade. What I do is actually I swirl them all together with my NARS Either brush, and then I contour the shit out of my face. One of the best contours I have ever tried in my life. And this art class thing, no, it's called the Too Cool for School Art Class by Roden Shading Classic Powder, whatever. I have read somewhere that this is like the mother of contour. I don't know if that is true. If you have a source that confirmed this, I mean, I totally believe it. This is one of the best contours ever. But it's only in 2nd place, because the 1st place is the Tom Ford Glow Bronzer. I always fuck up the name because I think it's called something else. And I am specifically talking about the shade Terra. This is the darker one. They only have 2, unfortunately. One that is very warm, and Terra. Why do I love Terra so much? I think you can maybe tell, depending on how the camera is translating this shade, it has a red undertone. This is a contour shade, or like a bronzer shade with a red undertone that just suits my skin so well. The formulation is very nice. I think you can blend this super easy, but the shade is what makes this my favorite bronzer. And that's it for this year's bronzer ranking. Let me please know down below what was your favorite bronzer of 2023. Doesn't matter if it's cream, if it's contour, if it's bronzer, if it's powder, if it's liquid. Just let me know what it was, so that maybe when I'm done with my no-buy, I can try it out. Maybe, who knows. And don't forget to check out the info box. Of course, please subscribe, because we're doing Ellamas, so it's a lot of videos still coming, and a lot of videos have been up already. I do have a playlist for that. And that's it. And I will see you tomorrow.